Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Welcome in. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. From all of us here at the South Point Studio, Sports by the Book, we'd like to say thank you to all of those who have served or who have had family members who have served. Remember, if you are local, if you're in Las Vegas, you get a free buffet here at the South Point. There will be a line, but come on down. We'd love to see you. Make sure to say hi to the guys behind the book as well. Thank you for joining us today on Sports by the Book. It is Tuesday, so that means you get 3 of us for this hour plus. We'll talk NFL Week 11 lines. We'll give out our top 10 for college football. And then we've got today's action, of course, and a lot of games to get to. I'm Alex White alongside Matt Neverett at the desk and Ryan McCormick behind the glass, behind the curtain.
Whatever
what are
you
we
wanna call
saying? Okay, very good. So welcome
Somewhere
in.
over the rainbow.
We
Looking good in
appreciate
the
you
hockey
guys.
jersey.
Looking good in the hockey
Sorry,
jersey.
sweater.
Let's throw it right there
Sweater.
to
There
Ryan
you go.
because
Sweater.
representing.
It is almost sweater weather here in Vegas. It's starting to cool down a little bit.
A little bit. And, you know, that's a good point, Matt, because we got to check weather reports for football, right?
It's starting to
Especially
get that
college
time of
football.
year.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it in Denver last weekend. We basically always see it at MetLife. I don't know how they invented the wind that swirls there perpetually, but there's always some kind of a kicking line, like Brian Dable getting kicked out of that locker room. That was a long setup to get there, but I'm glad I got somebody with it.
Well, and that also leads us right into a recap of last night because we kind of hesitated. We went back and forth with the under between the Eagles and the Packers. When I left the studio, I saw some more weather reports. I saw the the cast that was there all bundled up, and I immediately took that under that had not dropped too far from 45, and pretty easy winner there.
Now, I know in terms of handicapping, especially when it comes to the NFL, you're as numbers driven and as analytical as it gets, but is there a value when you're trying to gauge the weather of watching those pregame reports and seeing how the reporters are bundled up? I always find some merit, whatever amount you want to read into this, of seeing what a normal person's reaction is to the weather.
Yeah.
These football players, they'll run out there and warm up shirtless and no problem. But you see a normal person go out there, it's frigid. And, there's a bit to that, especially when it comes to the passing game.
Yes, there is. And especially when you got two teams that want to run the ball a lot, right? So then that, I think, adds a little bit more into it.
Now,
But
what is this game?
Two good defenses, too.
What does this game that finished so low scoring tell you about a potential future playoff matchup? And, it's like in college basketball, They say it's hard to beat a team twice, or in conference championship games in football, it's hard to beat a team twice. But this very, very well could be an NFC playoff matchup, let alone potentially an NFC championship.
Well, I mean, let's bring Ryan into this too, because he was kind of talking about it off air before we started the show about a lot of it kind of falling on Jordan Love. And if that is the case, then how much can you trust the Packers to turn around and beat them the second time? As you're saying, it's tough to beat the same team twice, but they really couldn't do anything with that offense. And I know they have a lot of injuries, but that makes me a little worried. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, it's a lot of pointing fingers right now, and everybody wants to either go at Matt LaFleur saying his play calling's terrible, or Jordan Love saying he can't really throw the ball down the field. The two kind of go hand in hand, being the head coach is your play caller and the quarterback is the one that facilitates your offense. So as a Bears fan, I love to see it. I love to see Packers fans in turmoil, but I don't think Matt LaFleur should be getting the flack that he is from a good amount of the public. Yeah.
And Alex, you can attest to this. One of my absolute favorite betting trends of any sport of any kind is NFL primetime unders for both the first half and the full game. And I'd love to go back. Maybe for next week's show, I'll come in with some actual numbers prepared because it just seems like it always goes under. That's honestly one of my favorite bets. I was all over both last night. And both hit very, very comfortably. So that's one of my absolute favorite all-time trends in any sport is NFL primetime unders, and especially in the first half. And especially as we get colder and later into the year, and those numbers are going to start to tick down a little bit. I still like a lot of them when I look at the board every week.
I actually thought of you yesterday because last Tuesday you came in and said the same thing.
I'm all over it.
When we were going through the matchup yesterday and saying, this sets up nicely for an under, and then the fact that it was a prime time too. So we should have been all over it as well. 0-0 first half. I'm sure you were
love to
loving
see
that.
it if you're on the first half under, right?
Yeah. Ryan, how about some recap from the rest of the leagues out there, hockey, NBA, college, anything you found from yesterday?
Well, sure. Just to mention the NFL note, the game opened, Packers -2.5, ended up closing, Eagles -1. So not a great night for the books, flooded with Eagles money, and they ended up pulling it out. They are now the 2 seed in the NFC playoff picture. The Packers fall to 7. The Eagles, Matt had mentioned a possible playoff rematch between the Eagles and Packers coming up, but we also have Eagles-Lions this upcoming week. That could also be a very tough playoff preview. But getting to the recap from last night, the NBA had favorites go 7-2 straight up, 3-6 against the spread. Totals were 4-4-1. I did happen to pick the Blazers, who lost on a buzzer beater thanks to Desmond Bane. They should have lost the game. They almost stole it, but didn't get the winner there. Then I also had the Bucks. I played at -2. Moved to -3, game landed on 2, so I got the push, but if you followed me, unfortunately, was a loser there. But college basketball, favorites went 23-3 straight up, 16-10 against the spread, though. And I failed to look at the total notes, but going to the ice, favorites went 2-2 straight up, and totals were the same, 2-2.
Not good for me, too. It was the wrong 2 favorites that got there last night. The Devils' home streak came to an end, unfortunately, but we've got more games today, a lot of good games, and it looks like we'll have a lot of the starting goalies actually playing today, which we haven't seen a whole lot of to start the season. So we'll dive into hockey. That'll be the very end of the show. We got to kick it off with our NFL, looking ahead to the next week, and it's 11-11, so kind of fits perfect. It's week 11 in the NFL. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these numbers and where the lines have moved already and where we think they'll move to. And then, of course, the totals, because those just come out a little bit later here. But Starting off on our Thursday night game, I know Matt's going to be excited to talk about this one here. An AFC East matchup. The Jets coming off a big win after, of course, trading a lot of their young pieces.
They're all big wins for the Jets.
They find a way to get a win. Now they have 2 on the season. And then, of course, the Patriots, 11.5-point favorites here at home because Drake May right now the front runner for MVP.
You love to see it. And I mean, throughout the season, you guys have heard me joke, and the jokes have become increasingly more serious, if you want to say that, about Drake May as the MVP, just because of the way that he's almost single-handedly been able to take over games. We haven't seen that since a guy who wore number 12 in New England was able to do that. And they're finally winning games and dominating games that they should. That's the thing for a while is you didn't really know what kind of a Patriots team you were going to be getting, but now you see it as evidenced by the double-digit point favorite in this game. They're starting to get some respect from not only the bettors but the books themselves.
No, they really are, and I think that was a really impressive win over the Bucks,
Absolutely.
who was a feisty team and never an easy win there. So big win for them coming into this one. And Ryan, I think it's moving here at the South Point. I'm seeing 12 now, total 43.5.
Yeah, open 10.5. So move heavy steam with the Patriots. And if you can get the 11, it might be for the numbers people out there, 11-11, taking the 11.
Oh my goodness, in week 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I wonder when the last time that happened was.
It though.
I know it's so hard to take that big line. I mean, this may be. I'm just looking at the numbers that we have in front of us right now for the week. I mean, that and the Ravens are going to be the 2 most teased games, I think, in the NFL. The 2 biggest favorites at the moment. There's a couple of other dogs that I think may be interesting in a tease spot. But as far as the favorites, I think the Patriots might be the only team that I would tease. The Ravens at the Browns this week as an 8.5-point favorite on the road. That doesn't scream yes on a teaser for me.
A perfect segue, Matt, because the next team that's playing, the Miami Dolphins, they really messed up a lot of people's teasers because the Bills, I'm sure, were a very popular one last week, but they did find a way to get that win. First game ever in Spain. So start us off early Sunday morning. The Dolphins and the Commanders. Right now, Miami, a 3-point favorite, total 47.5.
Oh, God. What do you make of that win last week? I mean, are the Dolphins playoff bound? Did Mike McDaniel save his job? No and no. But, what was that? And Josh Allen didn't even have that bad of a day on paper when all was said and done. I remember looking at the first half and thinking, this may turn out to be one of his worst games as a quarterback in the NFL. His numbers were fine by the end because of the way that they had to throw the ball all over the yard in the second half. But, what was that? 13 points late against a Dolphins team that would give up points to the 6 or 7 of us here in the studio.
I'll tell you, I mean, coming off a really good NFL week, finally on the season, and the Dolphins are probably the first team that I strike out.
Yeah.
I'm not betting any of their games because you don't know which version you are going to get, right?
Man.
They do have, a couple key players that can really be difference makers, but I just don't trust them week in and week out.
And it's tough to take a dog on the road, but this just screams at I always want to call
another team though that
the
I
Commanders.
would be. Ryan, didn't you just give us a crazy stat with the Commanders and this losing streak and the margin that they are losing by?
No,
so,
are they just getting smoked?
Well, yeah, they've lost, I believe, 4 straight games by at least 21 plus points. They are the first team to do that since the 2002 Arizona Cardinals.
Well, if there's any team that's going to beat the Dolphins, wouldn't it be the Commanders after that? Just with the way that this season has gone and the way that the Dolphins have been a part of some of these big, weird games.
I like the way you're thinking. I mean, that was the reason why I liked the Saints last week over the Panthers. Sometimes it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Besides the fact that these are all professional players, right? And it's kind of the embarrassment factor. And then they get up for the next game.
That's the thing. Even when they're supposed to lose, they try to win. The Texans can thank Lovie Smith for that one. A handful of years ago.
I'll thank Lovie Smith every day of the week.
Yeah, there you go.
But just another added, this game is overseas, and we've seen kind of the Falcons get a little bit, or really all the overseas games so far this year have been tighter than they should be, and kind of up in the air. So this one shouldn't be any different with the injuries on the Commander side, the lack of discipline on the Commander side, and then the Dolphins. Honestly, I believe. Yes, the Bills had won, I think, 8 consecutive against the Dolphins, but the Dolphins, that was when Tua went out, had his concussion issues.
Which one?
Exactly, but I think multiple were against the Bills.
Yeah.
So just kind of emotions for the Dolphins going against a division rival, that specific division rival, I think added a lot into it. Will there be a hangover, being the fact that they won that game? Who knows? But going overseas, definitely a stay off for me.
Congratulations, Spain. Here's your first NFL game. You get the Commanders and the Dolphins.
Yep. We'll go to a game that I will actually be in attendance for, but is
no
currently
way.
off the board here at the South Point. But in the market, the Packers are 7.5, and the total is 44.
And we talked about this a lot yesterday with Dable getting fired, and Matt kind of gave us some of his quick thoughts. Is that?
I
Is
mean, my
that
quick
it?
thought was, yeah, see ya.
You agree with the move there? Kind of had to.
I mean, it's tough. Like, I agree with Nico Harrison. That move should have been made months ago on a separate note. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, who do you blame? You put him with Jackson Dart, any rookie. You put him with a rookie quarterback and Russ Wilson, who's, not what he used to be at all as your quarterback, and you want the guy to make magic. I don't know. The expectations are about where they should be, I would say. They're supposed to win games, but I don't know. The guy goes from winning Coach of the Year, 2 years ago?
His first year, 22.
So 22, but okay, 3 years is enough time, I would say, to have that glint wear off. But yeah, just a weird time right now in I was going to say New York. It's New Jersey. The Bills are the only team in New York. And then the Packers, yeah, like this game off the board right now at a lot of places. Go look offshore, some other markets for this one. But yeah, I don't know. What would you make the line on this one, Ryan, before we ask Alex?
I did not make mine yet.
Oh, not yet. Well, this is called. I want you to use your instincts here, Alex.
See, it's off the board because of the injury question with Jackson Dart.
Let's say he does not play.
If he does not play,
it did not look good last weekend when he walked off the field.
No.
And we have to know, the Packers are overrated, but you have to respect the talent that they have on their roster. Granted, the Giants do have talent on their roster. I'd probably make this game in MetLife with the coach boost. Still Packers 6.
I was going to say 5.5, yeah.
I've been trying to find this Opta-stats about Jackson Dart because you were kind of hating on him, and
I'm not hating on him. I just mean any rookie
there
quarterback.
was a really good trend.
He's been great.
That he was doing stuff that no rookie ever had. But
I believe from weeks 4 to 9, he was the number 1 fantasy quarterback. I'm not knocking Jackson Dart. I'm just saying that, conceptually, any rookie quarterback with Russell Wilson, who did not seem that eager to mentor him like he was supposed to. Yeah, I don't know if that situation was ever going to work out in terms of this season. Now, Jackson Dart, I think he is, for a little bit was criminally underrated, especially in the draft. But yeah, good luck.
So I have a 7-point difference right now before going through week 10 from these two teams. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of number we get here for that one.
And Packers coming off back-to-back losses, embarrassing against the Panthers at home, and then last night another embarrassing performance against the Eagles at home. So on the road, maybe they get it back, but coach's boost. I won't be rooting for it. Anyway, going to the actual team playing in New York, the Buffalo Bills will be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Opened Bills -5.5, total at 50.5.
That line's already moved a full point. I think part of that due to the fact that the Patriots were able to hold on, and God, I don't know. People scooping up the Bills after last week. Who knows? I mean, that's probably the lowest you're going to get them. There's a game later tonight that I like on the hardwood that is probably the best number you're going to get on a team. So that may be an example here. It's always tough to go to Buffalo. Who knows?
Well, I mean, injuries for both teams, right? Really stacking up, and both of them coming off of pretty tough losses. So that's a hard one. I would definitely be leaning to taking points, though. I think this would be a tight, maybe field goal game here.
And this is what I was saying is there was a couple of games as far as dogs that I would like on a teaser leg. I'm a big teaser guy. I think Tampa in a tease, get that up to, 5.5? Get it up to 11.5. If you can get Tampa at double digit, I like that. Fun little tease with the Patriots and them, get them to 4.5 and 11.5.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll have to see because those lines are going to move. And I would wait. If you're going to bet the Buccaneers at all, wouldn't you assume that this is a game that the public's going to be all over the Bills on, trying in a bounce back spot?
Definitely
back
agree.
home. I think that this is one that's going to swing, and it's the exact opposite for the Patriots. I think the Patriots line's also going to get bigger. So if you're going to take the Patriots in a tease, take them now. I would wait on the Buccaneers of any sort if you're going to bet it.
No, I definitely agree there. Very high total, 48.5 for that one. But
Wow. No, at least
Does-
the sheet that I have from South Point in front of me, it's got it at 50.5.
wow, so it's going down.
That's coming down. So again, hey, if you like Tampa and you like over, I'd wait. We'll see. We got an interesting divisional matchup here. I think that this one, because of the history between these two, has the potential to be the closest game, even though I think one team on paper has a distinct advantage. Keeping it in the early slate. In an AFC North showdown, those are always bloodbaths. The Bengals and the Steelers at Acrisure, formerly Heinz Stadium, or Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Steelers 5.5. I think this one gets up to 6.5, maybe 7 before the game. This is a matchup that's been dominated by the Steelers recently. The Bengals have statistically the worst defense in the NFL, and defense travels and lack of defense does as well. So I like the Steelers in this one. The Bengals won 2 of 3 last year against the Steelers. Now that was with a healthy Joe Burrow and really the best offense we've seen from the Bengals last year during the last handful of seasons. These are two teams slumping. Steelers 1-3 in their last 4. Bengals 1-6 in their last 7. So somebody trying to stop the slide. And I think this line, like I said, is going to get a little bit bigger. I think this is going to be a tight game though.
You mentioned the slide, and I think it more favors the Bengals in this case because they do have somebody returning to practice this week, not necessarily designated to return from IR, but at least returning to practice, Joe Burrow. So getting maybe a little confidence for the team going into a divisional matchup. The Steelers don't have much confidence. I think the Bengals are live in this game, so I'll be waiting to possibly getting a 6 or 6.5 if it moves that way. I'd also be more inclined to be taking the over, even though it's moved down 0.5 point.
Can I play devil's advocate on that angle on the practice side
Sure.
of things? Now, and I'm not even saying that I believe this, but is there some merit, would you think, to a guy coming back like Joe Burrow? And we don't know what the practice plan is like. We don't know we don't know what he's out there. Not even a distraction, but maybe taking reps away from a guy that might need it as far as the backup quarterback or some wide receivers that are trying to still develop a connection. I'm not even saying I necessarily believe that. But there may be some merit to that, and it'd be a difference too if it were a team that's in a race like the Colts or like the Broncos or something like that. But the Bengals are also not playing well against the spread, 3-6 against the spread this season. So against the number, they haven't been great. They haven't been taking care of business or even keeping it close where they need to. Yeah,
and just to I would take that into consideration. Losing reps to the quarterback coming back in a couple weeks. But the backup quarterback is Joe Flacco. The guy
doesn't need the reps.
He doesn't.
Right.
He's better without.
These are the best weapons that he's had in his entire career. So, I like the Bengals here.
You said 2 of 3?
Bengals took 2 of 3 last year. That was with a healthy Burrow.
1 this year, and then so Bengals already did beat them this year.
I will say they are 3-1 in their last 4 visits to Pittsburgh straight up.
Wow.
I got no play on this one. I think this one's going to be a bloodbath. This is an interesting divisional game. This next one is not a very interesting divisional game to me. Texans at the Titans. Titans a 1-win team. When you tank, you're not supposed to tank the next year too. Someone needs to tell the Tennessee front office that. I don't think it's a tanking situation here. I just think that the roster on paper is that bad. On the sheet we got in front of us and on the board right here at South Point, off the board right now, still waiting on the injury question for C.J. Stroud. Davis Mills actually looked pretty darn good. Davis the Giraffe Mills with the longest neck in the league. That is my number one betting angle on the Texans is Davis Mills' neck. But I can't get excited about this one. This may be a game to really stay tuned on some player props. I don't know, Tony Pollard overs in the rushing game. I just don't. There's nothing that excites me about this game right now. That AFC South is just such a weird, muddled division. I mean, outside of the Colts, who's any good in that division? Texans without C.J. Stroud, despite last week, I don't think are set up for the long term.
Well, the Texans, they're one of the best defenses.
That's all they got going for
So if you want to look at Tennessee's team total under, I would not hate that at all, but very similar to the Broncos. Struggling on the offensive side, but elite defenses.
I've got 2 trends in this one that lean to the Texans and lean to the over. Number one, the Titans have lost their last 12 games against the AFC. So that's like the majority of their schedule. And Titans' last 5 games as home dogs have gone over.
Oh.
So when they're home dog, it's because they're giving up a ton of points. So whenever the line comes out on this one, I would try to get it early because the public's going to be all over the over in that one. So you know I'm a trend guy. That one leans over, so I may be taking it over. That plus a player prop might be anything that I play in this game, if at all.
Well, we saw last week Houston and Jacksonville, and same AFC South matchup. The total was pretty much right here at that 39.5, more 38. And it's still, the Texans almost went over by themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the over in this one.
Whatever the number's going to be.
Yeah. Jump it more so early.
I was going to say like low 40s. I like 41.5, maybe something like that.
And I love unders. And I had even asked Chris Andrews on Friday, Football Frenzy. I said, does this total, like, would you give any advice to kind of, be careful when you're betting totals this low? And then, of course, that game. Yeah. But really, it was second half for the Houston Texans and Davis Mills.
And this is the time of year, too, where you can start to handicap the motivation angle, especially on the defensive side. That's where it's more apparent.
Very true.
Like for these teams like the Titans, what do they have to play for down? What's the difference between losing by 15 and losing by 30 at this point of the year for them?
Yeah.
I know they're not thinking that, but inherently there is, something to that.
Well, I just got to be careful because then you get people calling you out about business decisions.
We're handicapping psychology here, folks.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to a huge NFC North matchup here with the Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. Two teams kind of going in opposite directions. The Vikings, 3-point favorite at home, total 48.5. I say opposite directions. I mean, the Vikings have 5 wins, but it still feels like a kind of underwhelming season for them so far compared to last year.
Yeah, and I think it's partially due to the I don't even want to say the public relations angle, but just with how it played out with Carson Wentz, just doesn't really sit right with me. The guy put his literal body and wellness on the line for you for 2.5 games, and you're just kind of like, all right, well, the young guy's ready to go. So see ya. Thanks for your contributions. And what's probably going to be the last NFL stint of Carson Wentz's career. Now, J.J. McCarthy has never really had to be the guy, and that's kind of the same story here. Although that Vikings offense looked pretty darn good last week. I think he's going to be just fine because of the way that defense is. I think the real question here, Ryan, is, what are we going to get from Caleb Williams at the end of the year? Where are we going to see that next step in his development? Because we have seen him, I will say, make strides throughout his career. He's a better quarterback now than when he entered the league. When's that next step? Because he's kind of plateaued in a lot of ways.
I'm not sure when that next step will come. I'm trusting the process, and Ben Johnson will get him there. But in terms of this game specifically, the Vikings won in week 1 with a comeback. The Bears gave that game away. I think this team's going to have some motivation. I'm jumping on the money line right now for the Bears. It did open 2.5 for the Vikings, so it's moved to the 3. Total open 46.5 is up 2 points to 48.5.
I love the home revenge is the best when they go to Soldier Field and beat them there. The Bears have a chance to go do that back. So 3 points there. I agree with you. And you like a money line even. I can't fault you there either. Switch it up a little bit. Not quite as exciting because we're going to the South Division here. But the 5-5 Panthers taking on the 3-6 Falcons. The Falcons have been competitive. They just kind of shoot themselves in the foot here. But they are a 3.5-point favorite, Matt, over the Panthers, coming off of that bad loss to the Saints. Total 42.5.
The illusion I was going to say for the Panthers. I think finally the curtain drop, the other shoe drop for the Panthers last week against the Saints. I remember coming onto this show last week and kind of saying tongue in cheek, "Oh, the Panthers are looking downright proficient this year." We saw that go out the window against the Saints team that is trying to lose. Second tank reference of the show for me. Home revenge. Falcons, I think the Falcons are the team that is downright proficient. They took the Colts to overtime in a weird environment last week. I think the Colts are best team in the AFC, maybe, to some people. So that was a very good loss, if there is such a thing. If you're the Falcons, I like this. I like this side. I like Falcons. I'm going to be on them. This is another one too that I think is going to go upwards as far as the line throughout the week and towards the weekend. So. If there's a couple of lines that I'm jumping on early this week, it's going to be the Falcons and it's going to be the Bills. Those are the two that I'm really going to target to try to go after early in this week because of some of those revenge angles, like we've said, for both of these teams, off of losses, off of weird losses. For the Bills, just getting smoked by a bad Dolphins team, and for the Falcons, losing in overtime against the best team in one of the conferences on the road in Germany. So I like both of those this week, especially the Falcons.
Well, it looks like we got the Sports by the Book stamp of approval, taking the Falcons minus the 3.5, the home revenge. The post-game presser for Michael Penix told me a lot. He's wearing that loss. They all need to play better. They asked him. The question was like how. It was about his and Drake London's relationship and how much that means and what they can do going forward. And he doesn't matter. We need to win. I need to play better. How do you play better? Is that turnovers, pass completions, everything? I just need to play better. So the Falcons, I'm liking them this week.
Well, and when Matt said that the Falcons are efficient, Chris Andrews' numbers would agree with that. And we have seen that on his chart with their offensive and defensive numbers being really good, but we haven't seen it completely play out. Might be a little bit of coaching, but there's from last week, and we'll have updated ones coming to you this week, definitely. But that kind of definitely stuck out to me looking at the Panthers' numbers there right going into last week. I'm like, they're above 500, but their numbers don't really say
They're
that.
so up and down.
And then we saw them get that loss.
They're one of those teams you never know what you're going to get week after week.
So, Ryan, kind of I think that would be an extra sports by the book stamp of approval there.
All right.
Double stamp.
All right. Well, now we go to Duval. The Chargers are a road favorite here against the Jaguars. Open 2.5, now to 3, and total staying stagnant at 44.
Looks like there are some 2.5s still out there. So if you like the Chargers, I would jump on that now, which I will tell you, I will definitely be on the Chargers. Anything under a field goal here, and I think that number is going to keep moving up for these two.
I like that. Yeah, hard to lay points on the road, but I think the Chargers are that good. Justin Herbert is that good in my book. There's that confidence angle too. Not only some of the angles that we've mentioned as far as home revenge, the coaching change, but I think Keenan Allen is a guy that is, beloved enough to where that record at the end of the game where they legitimately forced it like Tom Brady did for Gronk that one year or like they did for Mike Evans last year. I think that there's something into that. And this is a Chargers team that's really starting to roll. Like that dominant victory last night over the Steelers or Sunday
night.
Whatever day. Yeah, I know it was not the primetime game last night. That game was way more exciting than the Monday nighter. I think the Chargers are really starting to gain some confidence. And I don't know. Tell me what you think about this one. I don't think this is a favorite that's going to really catch a lot of action throughout the week for whatever reason. I think this one may stay right at that key number of 3 throughout the week. But I don't think that the Jaguars are going to catch a lot of action either. I think this one may go to like 3.5. I don't know. And that's such a key number and such a key hook to give up. I don't know. What say you about this number in general?
I think that the Jags are a little bit of a public team, so I could see them wanting to take that 3, definitely. I think the Sharps like the Chargers. They like that Harbaugh has really turned them around in 2 years. Kind of been on them for 2 years already. So probably be Joes versus pros in this one.
Basically.
What do you guys think about the total in that one at 44?
I don't think either of these defenses are particularly good, especially this time of year. I mean, 2 proficient quarterbacks, 2 offenses that have confidence. I like over, if anything, even though, I was going to say one of the higher totals, but yeah, it's about average as far as the totals this week. I like that. A middling line with two competent and confident offenses.
What is, Drew Dog, if you don't mind throwing up Chris Andrews' efficiency again, because I got to imagine the Jags are better on the defensive side than the offensive side. Because as you say that, Matt, I haven't seen a whole lot from
Slightly
Trevor
better
Lawrence.
offensively.
Slightly better offensively. Okay.
Interesting. That is weird. And the Chargers way better offensively.
Equidistant from league average on both sides.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah. I like that. This is about like as average a spread as you get, and average a total as you get. 2 teams that are about rated where they should be. So for once, I say tongue in cheek, the book's got it right. There's a reason the casinos are like they are and built like they are, and they're shiny and new because they're usually right.
All right, well, now we go to the team that the Chargers share SoFi Stadium with. This one at home, NFC West matchup, the 2 teams at the top of the NFC West. This one opened, again, the LA team minus the 2.5, but this one, the total opened 48.5. It has moved the same way. Rams now minus 3, total stayed stagnant, 48.5.
I would say 2 of the more dominating wins this past week. The Seahawks over the Cardinals and the Rams over the Niners. And now we get to see these 2 face each other. So I'm looking forward to this one, definitely. Feels like that number is pretty correct as well, kind of just giving the Rams the 3-point home field here.
I'm kind of surprised it's not a bit lower, like 1.5 to 2.5, somewhere in that range. I do feel like it's kind of just a throw it and see what sticks kind of a number here early in the week. And only because we've got the graphic right behind our camera, I see that these two teams are rated right back to back in your top 10 NFL power ratings. So I don't know, like with the power ratings, neutral field is what you quantify that on, right?
Yes.
So now the Rams are a 3-point favorite. How much is the home field advantage worth at SoFi? I think that for you, particularly with your power ratings, you've got them at 3 and 4 in those ratings, basically about even on a neutral field, right?
Yeah.
In theory, is SoFi worth a 3-point advantage?
Well, and especially the Seahawks, it's been funny because they've been trying to reverse it since McDonald's been there, right? They've been a better road team.
Yeah.
So that might play a factor too, Matt. It sounds like you're talking us all into taking the 3 here with Seattle.
No, quite the opposite, actually. I think this line should be smaller. I think the Rams, you want to talk about confidence? I think they're the most confident team in the league right now. I think Matt Stafford might be the best old quarterback since Brady, and maybe some better numbers in his age, like 38, 39, 40 season. I think the Rams are the most confident team in the NFL. I like this one because once this line gets under 3, I'm all over the money line for LA.
So you're saying that it should be 1.5, 2, but the line's telling you something here that is probably a Rams spot.
The books are giving the Rams more credit than I think a lot of people are. I don't think SoFi Stadium is worth a 3-point advantage. Now, I don't know. Like I said, I think this number goes down a little bit throughout the week, but I like the Rams. If it gets under 3, that put the money line to about 145. I like that. That's about the extent of where I'll play on a straight money line.
Well, you want to take us to the next 2
I'm all about
from
it.
that division?
We're talking divisional matchups.
wait,
you got
Ryan?
You got one, Ryan?
You just real quick to hammer the point of the Rams are possibly the hottest team in the NFL. Granted, the Seahawks have been beating up on teams, or Matthew Stafford might be the hottest quarterback in the NFL.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford of the Rams, per OptaStats, is the first quarterback in NFL history with at least 20 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions over a 6-game span in a single season.
Wow. And he's got the single best touchdown interception ratio season long for his entire career at this point.
And
he is, you talk about confidence. Like I said, the Rams are the most confident team.
he's coming for that MVP.
I think
Drake
so.
May.
It's going to be a two-horse race, I think, by the end with Drake May and some guy named Matthew. Who would ever name their kid that? But yeah, 2 teams in that same division, the NFC West, doing battle, 49ers and Cardinals. And this line only being 2.5 to the 49ers on the road tells you way, way, way more about the Cardinals, or excuse me, tells you more about the 49ers than it does about the Cardinals, because the Cardinals looked inept against the Seahawks last week, especially in the early stages. They trailed 38-0 at halftime. When the hell have you seen a 38-0 halftime score in the NFL as of late? That just does not happen. And, you know, the 44-22 final, not nearly as close as that game was. 15 of the Cardinals, 22 in the second half, and the Seahawks coasted to that easy 3-4 score win. 49ers banged up. And I think that this is going to be a low-scoring game. Total at 49, I think, is way too high. Cardinals' defense is bad, but there's no way they give up 38 points in the first half again to this 49ers offense that has scuffled over the last couple of weeks. I was actually, really impressed with what the Chargers were able to, or what the Rams were able to do. But Christian McCaffrey, 30 yards on 12 carries last week. A bulk of Mac Jones' production came in garbage time last week. This 49ers team is in dire straits. I think, they're all must-win games, especially the later in the year you get coming up here in week 11 out of 17. They're all must-win games. 49ers need a win like they need air to breathe. I think they're able to do it in like a 20-13 final. I could see this one going way under the number.
Well, the total is at 49 here at the South Point. It is the highest total in the market. Everywhere else just went to 48.5. So if you do like the under, you got to play it now. The 49.5 to get the best of the number.
And I think the 49ers reestablish the running game. I think that's what this game comes down to. They assert their dominance against the Cardinals, who are turning into one of the worst teams in the league this year, even with Kyler Murray, who's not going to play. I think the 49ers try to reestablish that running game. I think they win in a low-scoring game. I'm not going to have any action on this as of yet, but I actually really like the under. It might be one of my favorite unders of the week.
Careful, because I was all over the Niners and the Rams under. It was at 50. I thought it was way too high for those two teams.
Yeah.
I got to look into it with this division, the NFC West, and their matchups. I feel like a lot of them have been flying over, right? Thinking about the Seahawks, too. It was fun while it lasted with Jacoby Brissett. They had a really nice win over the Cowboys, and then I think they were exposed last week. On the other side, the Niners' defense is what was so disappointing. Robert Saleh's unit, I mean, they could not stop Matthew Stafford and company, right? And But I'm with you. I think it's a must win for them. I think they have high hopes of potentially making it to the Super Bowl again.
I think so. And the 49ers, too, are one of those teams where all they got to do is sneak in. They just got to get to the dance and have a spot at the table, and they'll find a way to beat a team that they shouldn't beat maybe in the first round. I don't think that they'll make it to the NFC Championship. I don't think they'll be one of the Final Four teams. But if this 49ers team makes the playoffs, look out, especially once Purdy gets healthy, especially once Brandon Ayuk gets healthy come playoff time. They're going to be a dangerous team if they can sneak in. We'll see. I mean, something about this time of year, once you start getting into these divisional matchups as well, is just so fun. And I think the AFC North is going to be another divisional game coming up here in a second. But something about the AFC North games, and I know it's not as hostile and violent as it used to be in the Antonio Brown, Vontaze Burfict, Juju Smith-Schuster, taking each other's head off days. But just something about it. It breeds close games, and it breeds a lot of unders. So take a look at this next one. Ravens-Browns. I don't know about the total, 41.5, now down to 40.5, so everyone's scooping the under. This one opened at 8.5 to the Ravens, now at 8. Tough to lay that much on the road, but it's the Browns. The Browns are regressing to their own mean when it comes to it's the Browns. And it's the Browns and the Jets are the two teams for me, just colloquially, where it's they're the Jets. Yeah, they're the Browns. The Browns are consistently more the Browns than the Jets are the Jets, if that makes any sense. Just finding ways to be bad and disappointing and an ugly watch. Dylan Gabriel just not ready. And Lamar Jackson, this is about the time of year when guys like him, and especially him, start to turn it on and really ramp it up towards the playoffs. I bet you he finishes in the top 3 of the MVP race. I could absolutely see that being the case because he's been there before, and this is the time of year where he turns it on. I think Baltimore very well could absolutely railroad Cleveland here, but like I said, the AFC North always so tough to handicap, and it breeds close games. It wouldn't surprise me. It would be just as equally surprising if the Ravens won by 30 or if they won on a walk-off field goal. I don't know. It's just the AFC North is the one division where you're I don't know on a week-to-week basis.
Ryan, you have any thoughts on this matchup?
Well, we all know there's only one version of the Browns that goes to the Super Bowl, so.
What, Madden?
Apparently we don't all know.
No.
But this one's a stay off for me.
I mean, Matt brings up a good point. Look at that total, 40.5, and you're catching 8 points.
That means the books are literally expecting like a 32-8 game, something like that.
I don't trust the Ravens just yet, and they are in my top 10 because, just the talent that they have and their power rating, their raw power rating. I still don't trust them. I thought that first half against the Vikings was pretty scary with J.J. McCarthy on the other side. So.
It's too big a number for a team that's been inconsistent. That being said, the Browns could go full Browns. It's a stay away for me. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if the Ravens won by 20 or won by 1.
How about this one? Matt said the Colts are the best team in the AFC. I have to disagree. I think it's one of these two teams, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Denver Broncos. A division matchup, a very meaningful one for the Chiefs if they want to win this division. Kansas City lane 4 on the road in Mile High, total 44.5.
This is one of those ones for the Broncos. It's a put up or shut up type of game. This is where they show if they belong or not. And it is week 11. And just ask the Bills about beating the Chiefs in the regular season and then losing to them in the playoffs. This could be a playoff matchup. So you're going to learn a lot about a team, especially for one that you could potentially play 3 times in one season. And I think the numbers are right on. I think the total's right on. I think this is going to be a close game in a hostile environment and a likely windy one in Denver. We talked about the weather earlier. This is absolutely going to be one where you got to take a look at the weather in the kicking game. Now, it's not a primetime game, but this may be one that I take a look at. One of my other favorite primetime bets, aside from unders and first half unders, total field goals made. And I love that South Point's one of the books in town that offers that. It's typically over under 3.5. And you pick your number one way or the other, depending on the kicking game. But this is going to be one where the weather absolutely is a handicap.
Yeah, so far, no movement on either side, spread or total. Still staying at the openers. I'm just going to enjoy this one. I had no plays for me. But we will go to one that is an NFC talking about playoff matchups, and we hinted at it earlier, but the Lions on the road in Philly. Eagles open -1.5, total at 49. It is now Eagles -2, and the total's gone down 1.5 to 47.5.
Looks like it is moved based off of the Eagles' win yesterday, right, over the Packers here. This is a tough one. Getting points with the Lions. I feel like I got to take it, especially I do have them higher power rated than the Eagles. at the current moment. But I'll have to dive into this one more for sure.
Yeah, this is the NFC Championship game that we got robbed of last year thanks to Jaden Daniels and company. Mike Tirico was talking about that on the Sunday Night Football broadcast when they were there, or Monday night or last night when they were looking ahead. Not much else to talk about in that game last night, so they were looking ahead on the schedule. God, this is the best game of the week, far and away in my book. I think Chiefs Broncos is probably second best of the week. And then Titans Texans is at the very bottom. But this is going to be the one I think that is going to have the best rewatch value. Like, this is the game that I'm going to clear my schedule for. And it's Sunday night. I think it goes under. I think first half goes under. I'm going to be really interested to see what the first half total is in this game. You know, it's also two teams that are probably going to play each other later on in the year. So it's a situation where you don't want to expose yourself too much and put too much on tape. We see that a lot in the college game especially, but I think it rings true here. Two really good head coaches, two defenses that are figuring it out. I like under in this one. I'm going to come in next week with the numbers on primetime unders, primetime first half unders especially. Those ones just get me all rustled up, and I think that this one's going to be the same way. Lastly, hey, we go from the most exciting game of the week on a Sunday night to what's probably my second least favorite game of the week happens to be the Monday Nighter. And, you know, preseason when they schedule these games that far out, this one looks sexy on paper. It's the Cowboys here in Vegas against the Raiders. Cowboys favored by 3.5. I mean, both of these teams just coming off of just gross, disgusting losses last week. Cowboys to the Cardinals. We saw what the Cardinals were this week. And the Raiders, who looked just anemic offensively against the Broncos on Thursday night last week. So they get a little bit of a rest advantage. I think that's really that in the home field, the only advantage that the Raiders have. And hey, if we're looking at the books and their angle, they say SoFi Stadium is worth 3 points. So this one we're on the road, the Raiders would be like a 7-point dog. Again, under. I love under. I think Cowboys win, but I'm not going to bet a side on this one.
You trust the Cowboys defense to stop? I mean, Geno Smith might look like the MVP in this game.
It's not that I trust the Cowboys defense. That's how much I don't trust the Raiders offensively. Like, where's the run game? Where's the run game coming from for the Raiders? That's the question.
We'll see it next Monday. I've got faith in that. 3.5. I'll take
low.
that.
That feels low.
I'm on the opposite because who are the Cowboys to be laying 3.5 against anyone?
It tells you what the books think of the Raiders.
Yes, it is.
That's all you can say. Yep.
Ryan, any thoughts for you at this moment for this matchup?
We talk about the Cowboys defense. We joke about the Cowboys defense being really, really bad. I would just like to point out the emotion that the entire Cowboys roster is going to be going under and trying to fight for their guy. So I'm with the Cowboys here.
Okay.
There's that angle. There is that. I don't trust either defense. I just think both offenses are that bad at this point. Again, primetime unders. Love it. I'll have the numbers next week, I promise.
Last Thursday, I made a case. I said the Raiders defense is a lot better than what the numbers say because the points that they're giving up does not match that the yards they're giving up. They're put in bad positions.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's
one. I think you're spot on there.
But the Cowboys offense is probably the best unit on the field here.
Yeah,
so that makes it a little tough. I'm going to give my top 10 quickly, and Ryan will read off Chris Andrews, and then I want both Ryan and Matt's reaction to our top 10 going into week 12 for college football. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll dive into some action that we can bet on tonight. Of course, we've got a lot on the hardwood, the ice, and 2 action games to get to. So going through my top 10, I'll go fairly quick here because not a whole lot of movement. The biggest thing that jumped out to me is I have a new leader in the SEC conference.
A new starlet has entered the villa.
That's right. And I'll go 10-1. Miami drops down a little bit and Georgia moves up. I think Georgia has entered the chat that they are a contender. I was very impressed with what I saw from their win. I know it was Mississippi State, but they've been a feisty SEC school this year and last year. So I thought that was a very dominant win there for them. Utah at number 8, who currently is not even in the Big 12 title game, but we'll see if they can get some help and find their way in there. Texas Tech dominated BYU. Loved that side. Went from 10 to 12, maybe even 13 when it closed. So, I mean, they just keep beating up on teams and winning by an impressive margin there. So they are at number 7 in the country. Number 6 is Notre Dame. I might still be a little low on them. I'm just kind of treading lightly because they're getting style points still, right?
Yeah.
2 losses on their resume. They're just beating up on teams that they can. We'll see moving forward how they do. Number 5 is Alabama, who did drop down a little bit. Played LSU pretty tight. They've had a really tough schedule, probably one of the toughest in the country, but still think they're a top 5 team. 2 teams just kind of jumped ahead of them. Oregon at number 4. They were 3 last week, I believe, for me, but dropped a little bit. Tight game against Iowa. Can't take too much away from them. They did find a way to win. The weather was awful. Number 3, though, Texas A&M. I think that they have definitely proven that they are one of the best in the SEC, if not the best. Mike Elko has this team playing great on both sides. We'll see how they can do moving forward. They've got a Texas last on their schedule. Number 2, Indiana. Would have been interesting to see how much I'd have dropped them down if they found a way to lose that game to Penn State. But as of right now, they are still number 2 for me. And number 1, Ohio State. They have definitely spread themselves now from the rest of the pack. You can find flaws on all of the teams. It's really tough to find any flaws from the Buckeyes right now. So we'll see if they can repeat. But remember, they have their favorite rivalry game coming up in a couple weeks. Black Friday.
Michigan?
That's right.
Not allowed to say the M. So, like, generally speaking, with power rankings, I don't think it does anyone any good to argue like, oh, he's 6 and it should be 7, or you should flip flop. And especially with the way that we have it laid out visually, the way my mind goes is you kind of have a first category with 1 through 5 and a second category with 6 through 10. I think that says more about my public school upbringing here in Clark County. But I mean, like your top 5 are spot on. The order, whatever you want to do, I think 1, 2, 3 are pretty much well established. I think just about anybody would agree with you. Now, 6 through 10, there is some arguments for your ratings, especially the longer I do this show with you. I always love hearing who's right on the outside looking in. Who do you have at 11 and 12? Because there's one team that I see missing that needs to be in everyone's top 10 power ratings or otherwise.
I know who it is too, and they are currently 13th right now. So I have USC and Vandy tied for 11th, and then half a point under them, I have the Ole Miss Rebels.
That's who I'm looking at.
And that's who you...
Their only loss is at Georgia. They've got Florida and Mississippi State coming up. They're going to be a 1-loss SEC team. And I don't... How does the playoff or SEC championship shake up right now? So Georgia has the head-to-head over Ole Miss. If everybody wins out, Alabama versus Georgia, correct?
No, don't forget A&M.
A&M
as well.
Bama.
Oh my God, the SEC. This is as intriguing and as top heavy as the SEC has been in a while. With
it is.
The 4 teams fighting. Now, granted, every conference is going to have like 30 teams here coming up, but yeah, how do you keep Ole Miss out of there? And I'm a little bit lower on Miami and Utah than you are. I would absolutely have Ole Miss in there. And as much as it pains me, I probably have Texas. You want to talk about confidence? They're really starting to ramp up. Again, like I said, it doesn't do anyone any good, I don't think, to argue semantics, one spot versus another on power ratings. I think Ole Miss needs to be in there. You're the one that does the numbers all year long, so I trust your judgment way over mine. I
think it's just where Ole Miss started for me, right? And then I've just been slowly bumping them up throughout the year. Their defense worries me a little bit, but I mean, since they moved to Trinidad at the quarterback position, they've been very impressive, and I have definitely bumped them up. I mean, I'm seeing 17th is potentially where they started for me.
And I mean, it's also so tough to bump them up into the top 10 after a 49-0 win over Citadel. So I don't necessarily blame you because you didn't have them last week for putting them in this week.
Correct.
A win over Florida this week should get them in my book. Not my power ratings, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And Texas is right there. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with them in Georgia. That's definitely a prove-it game for them, and maybe they will find their way in my top 10. But
that'd be total anarchy in the SEC.
It really would.
I love it.
Yes, please. Ryan, you want to go through Chris Andrews? Does he have any changes from last week?
Well, just to kind of mention the SEC. So if Texas beats Georgia and Oklahoma beats Alabama, it would be on pace to be Ole Miss versus Texas A&M in the SEC championship game.
Who would have thought that preseason?
Yep.
I love it.
That would be a fun game. We would get some offense in that one.
But then out of those 4, who do you leave out of the playoff?
God. I mean, they're all going to get in anyway on the at-large.
Yeah. So the playoff conversation is going to be a great one as we get to it. But as we get into Chris Andrews, the director of the Racing Sportsbook here at the South Point, his top 10 power-rated teams in college football, he has the same top 10 teams, just a little movement. The big dogs in the Big Ten remain the top 3, Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. But then Alabama remains 4. But then the 2 Texas schools jump over the Utes and the Leprechauns. Texas Tech is ahead of Texas A&M and Chris Andrews' power rankings at number 5. Texas A&M at 6. Notre Dame at 7. Utah to 8. So Notre Dame and Utah were 5 and 6 last week, fall to 7 and 8. Tech and A&M were 7 and 8, jump to 5 and 6. And then 9 and 10 remain the same, Georgia and Ole Miss.
I think 9 and 10 perfectly appropriate there, with Georgia having the win over Ole Miss. And for me personally, if I were doing it as of right now, I'd probably leap Georgia up to 7. I think with Texas Tech's win over BYU last week, it kind of showed like, hey, we're ranked where we are for a reason. We deserve to be here. I think it's tough to leapfrog them over Texas A&M. Chris Andrews, tip of the cap for your bravery there. I think that's appropriate. I'm big on Utah. I just don't know about top 10 big.
I know. I don't even know how they got there for both of us, to be honest. So we'll see.
I respect the hell out of what Kyle Whittingham has been able to do in a culture of college football where you don't really get to build a culture. He's been able to do it at Utah for a long time, yeah.
They have Baylor this week, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they should
I have
roll
my
them.
sheet right here. I actually...
No?
Right now,
that's a tease for later in the week, folks.
I'm leaning to the points, but look how much I like Utah. Do I really want to go against them? And do I trust Baylor with how inconsistent they have been?
Got to stay tuned later this week to find out.
No Miami for Chris Andrews. Can't really fault him there. He does have Ole Miss.
Baylor's catching 9.5 at home.
Yeah. We can get a 10. I think that's going to be a play. Let's take a quick break. Ryan, any final thoughts for you college-wise? Because we do have the second of our selection show tonight.
Yeah, we will have our second college football playoff bracket, 12-team playoff bracket coming out tonight. So we'll have the updated bracket for you guys tomorrow. Not necessarily. I like Chris with the Ole Miss at 10, but you have Ole Miss, right? You said 11
and 13.
13. Yeah, they were the one off, the 2 tied at 11. So, yeah.
Oh, that's another tease though. I'm gonna have USC again this week. On them last week.
Love the Trojans.
They're 11th right now. I think I'm gonna lay the points with them again this week. See if they can do it back to back. Anything we're expecting from tonight's show? We know that Virginia is going to be out. Probably won't have an ACC team. Even top 25. Is that what I'm?
Well, Pitt is currently ranked in the top 25. They're 23 in the AP poll.
Okay.
I would imagine that they'll be the ACC representative currently. Memphis also falls out and most likely be either Navy or South Florida. And then BYU
I see
most likely falls
Virginia
out as well.
20 in the AP and 19 in the coaches poll. So while they dropped precipitously, they stayed in. UNLV getting some votes again this week, baby. Let's go.
I mean, they have an outside shot, right? If they to get in.
I could do a whole show on the playoff possibilities for the Mountain West right now. It is absolutely insane, especially with San Diego State taking on Boise State. That is going to be an eliminator match. Like I said, I could go on and on. The Mountain West is going to be crazy.
I mean, Hawaii looking really good. They're playing some of the best football right now.
Legitimately, there's a 5-team race for the 2 spots in the Mountain West Championship game right now. Fresno State outside looking in as well.
Mountain West power ranking right now. Who's number 1 and 2?
A lot of folks would put San Diego State first still. I don't know if I would. I think Boise top dog. I think you got to go Boise. You got to beat the champ to be the champ. Boise, I'd go San Diego State at 2. They gave up 38 points last week, but they'd only allowed 57 the rest of the season combined. UNLV 3, Hawaii 4, 2 weeks from that eliminator matchup on a Friday here in Las Vegas. And then Fresno 5. Doesn't matter after that.
When we take a break, I'm going to sort by conference. And that sounds pretty good. I think that is probably dead on with mine as well. All right, let's take a quick break. Wait. Ryan,
no,
I saw that.
Just the Mountain West conversation. I really wish the group of 5 winner was guaranteed a home game in the playoff. I get that there'll be 12 and go against the 5, but I really wish the 5 would have to go on the road. And you mentioned Hawaii. How fun would that be to get to see a team have to go to Hawaii, lose that time?
Hey, if you're going to lose anywhere, that's the place to lose, right?
Right.
And UNLV may go to the Hawaii Bowl, so I may be out there.
And you get to go for basketball?
Next year.
Next year, okay. Is that Boise hosted last year, right?
Yep.
And that kind of didn't go so well, and then they decided to move on from that. But I agree with you. And you should be giving these schools the opportunity to host, right?
Definitely.
And make that money. So, all right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we will quickly go through all the bets we like. We won't even have to dive in too much. We'll just tell you what we like. move on from sport to sport. So don't go anywhere. We've got best bets coming up next.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts, Eric. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Time flies when you're having fun, right? Already an hour in here on Sports by the Book. We've still got about 10, 15 minutes minimum with you because we got today's action. We got to give you some plays that we really like on the hardwood or
Writing on the whiteboard
ice.
right now.
3 ranked unranked for college basketball. 3 really good games, actually, on this Tuesday. A lot, though. A full slate if you want to come make some bets. It's probably the best time to jump in for some college basketball here. Happy Veterans Day once again. Just want to remind everybody, free buffet here at the South Point. Ryan had a really good idea as well. I'm going to throw it over to him, kind of about the chat and getting you guys involved here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, thank you for your service to all the veterans out there, retired and active. And if you do happen to be retired or active military, even first responders, please let us know in the chat. If you're watching us live, we would love to give you guys a personal shout out and a thank you. And even if you're watching us back in replay, leave us a comment and we'll give you guys a shout out in a later episode. But thank you for your contribution to the freedom of this country. So happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, chime in. We know Attila, who does watch our show regularly, is a vet as well. So anybody else, Attila, if you can get the ball rolling, if you are watching live, that would be great. We do have, or did have a poll. Did it end already?
No, still going on.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about the college basketball games today, those 3 ranked versus ranked matchups, going with on the road again, which college hoops team on the road are you taking this evening? Kentucky on the road at Louisville plus the 6.5, Texas Tech at Illinois plus the 4, or Creighton at Gonzaga plus the 11.5. So go ahead and let us know your thoughts there. Currently, the Wildcats leading that one.
You darn tootin' they are.
Going to get into today's action, the plays. We'll go to the gridiron first. Going to Ohio and Western Michigan. This one opened Ohio minus 1.5 on the road, has now moved to a pick. So the action is on Western Michigan. Total open 47.5, down to the 47 where it sits now. What do you guys think here?
I've got a play and I've got trends. You know I love my trends. This is actually an upper tier MAC matchup.
Yes.
Ohio with the win could take all sole possession of first place. They come in 6-3, 4-1 of the conference. Western Michigan 5-4, 4-1 in the MAC. So this one, kind of a battle to stay at the top. Ohio coming off of a win over Miami, Ohio last week. They've won 4 in a row. They screwed me last week. I was on the Red Hawks. Western Michigan coming off of a win over Central Michigan. I like Ohio's quarterback Parker Navarro a lot. He's a big time running threat. Proficient enough with the arm. It's 2 teams coming in hot. Ohio winners of 4 in a row. Western Michigan has won 5 of the last 6. And here's the handicap here. Western Michigan has an okay running game, but one of the worst passing offenses in all of college football. And these are 2 teams, as you would imagine, in the Mid-American Conference that run the ball a ton, 57 and 58% of the time, respectively. I love under in this game. And it's dropping. It was at 47.5. It's at 47. I still like it. Now, we talked about the line in this one a little bit. I am staying away from the line. It's Ohio, if anything, especially now that they've flipped to the dog. But I love under in this one. 2 teams that run it a lot. Western Michigan cannot throw the ball. I think one of the 2 gets an early lead and milks the clock, limits the number of possessions in this game.
You are correct there. 57-58%. Ohio 32nd in the country in running
Down to a pick 'em now.
percentage, and then Western even higher than that. So I'm with you. I lean to the under, definitely, especially Western Michigan has an even better defense than they do offense.
Yeah.
But I like Ohio. I'm very confused with this line move.
I mean, it opened what, 1.5 to Ohio,
Yep.
laying a 1.5 on the road. I think that maybe some people trying to catch some money on a home dog. I definitely see that angle in a tight matchup. I think you got to play the motivation angle here too. These are two teams fighting for first place really in the MAC. I think it's going to be low scoring, and I think, like I said, whoever gets the lead is going to milk it. And I think Ohio's offense is a little bit better prepared to take an early lead in this game and hold on.
I made it 4, so it would be Ohio or pass for me. I do think that they are the overall better team, but you're right, 4-1, both of these two in conference play, so should be a good one there.
I like it. Yeah, this one's all right. I got nothing on the next one, Ryan. This next one does not interest me at all.
All right, the other team, one of the other teams in Ohio, Akron, is a 6.5-point favorite at home against Kent State. Total just moved up to 49. There are 48.5s out in the market, but 49 here at the South Point.
Wow. This one opened at 46.5.
I made it 51 actually, so I thought it was an overplay, but I did not jump in. I wanted to check on weather. I made it 6 and 51, but I decided to pass. But now we're seeing it actually get bet up. So
generally speaking, if there's a conference, I'll just blindly go unders with on the gridiron. It's the MAC.
Right.
I'll blindly go over in the Big 12. That's kind of every now and then if I just want a fun little pizza money play. If I need a trend, that's what I'll go with, is unders in the MAC and overs in the Big 12 for whatever reason. But
especially if it's Baylor or Cincinnati.
yeah, this one does not excite me, which is saying something because I love the MAC.
Yes.
Love the MAC.
Well, hey, we've got some good matchups coming up this week too in the MAC, so we'll be reviewing those all week.
Yeah,
but a couple good
better
ones.
games on the hardwood tonight. There's some really good basketball tonight.
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we'll move there right now. But before we do, we did have Attila in the chat let us know. Retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant.
Thank you.
Currently Chief of Maintenance for PM Maintenance at Nellis Air Force Base here in Las Vegas. Attila, thank you very much for your service. Going to the hardwood, as Matt said, starting with number 9, Kentucky at number 12, Louisville. The Cardinals are a 6.5-point favorite here at home. Total is in the 170s, 173.5.
You
How
want to
about
start
this
us
one?
off?
Yeah, because I found a crazy trend, and this is not me doing the digging. Somebody else did this, but I was able to unearth it, taking a look into this game. And like normally when you hear a trend, you're like, oh, 7 of last 8. That's a pretty good correlation. Listen to this one for Louisville specifically. 140 of their last 144 non-conference games have gone under 174. 140 of 144.
Wow.
And now, while they may have the worst arena name in college basketball, the KFC Yum exclamation point center, they defend that KFC Yum exclamation point center. That exclamation point is for the defense. Now, that being said, I am going to bet under. I'll give you that. I got 173.5, so I'm going to go under. It's up to 174.5. I'll still take it under 173.5. Kentucky, 8 of the last 10 against Louisville. They have won straight up, and they have won 10 of their last 16 straight up as a dog against anybody. You're catching over $2 on the Kentucky money line. If you don't want to be too risky, take the points. If you're like me, I love Kentucky, and I'm also going to bet the under. I'm going to bet the under more confidently, but I actually really like Kentucky as a dog here.
It's funny, when I was first diving into this matchup, looking at Mark Pope's team with his second year here now at Kentucky, last year his team was 30th in tempo. This year, they're still running, right? They're 78th. And then Louisville, even faster, third quickest offense, third quickest on the offensive side. And I mean, they're running as well. I think they were even faster overall. So that made me nervous, but my dad's number is way lower.
Well, the question too at the beginning of the year, at this point of the schedule, third fastest tempo. Who are they playing?
Yeah, that's very true.
You and I could run the third fastest tempo against the Sisters of the Blind, D3 NAIA, whatever. Especially for the a top 10 Kentucky team and a top 15 Louisville team. There's some games that go on at this time of year where you may as well throw the numbers out the window. It's really, really tough. And when you're going to handicap based on numbers like that, as you know, at this time of year, you got to check the opponent for sure.
Definitely. Well, right now, Cardinals 28th in pace, but I did check. So last year, they ended up being 90th in the country. So still relatively fast, but not like they are now. I'm taking the points here. I might just wait because they keep betting Louisville at home here. But I think that Kentucky is the better all-around team. And I'm really impressed with what Mark Pope has done since getting that job there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Kentucky, this is a game in the early part of the season where you establish yourself and really set the tone for the season. This is a bigger rivalry game that a lot of people really know about. I mean, geographically, these two schools not that far apart.
Right.
This is a big rivalry. Don't get it twisted, for sure.
Well, and that does remind me, Kentucky did win last year, but it was at home. But they won that one by
They've won eight of their last 10 straight up
Okay.
against Louisville.
Okay.
I like Kentucky. I love the under.
The action so far in this one has been on Louisville. It did open 5, and here at the South Point, moved 1.5 on the spread to the 6.5. There in that one. But
I mean, I'm already in on Kentucky at plus 220. If it goes to 7, I can get 240. I might double down.
all right.
Jumping in. So Ken Palm actually has Louisville winning by 1. Kenny White has Louisville by 3. So I liked that 3.5 point difference there, sidewise. And Ken Palm's even farther, expecting a closer game.
Love you, Ken.
Well, we got Ken again.
There's a lot of Kens that going
Ken
around.
Palm. I do love you,
for
Kenny
here.
White, but that was for Ken Pomeroy.
So we'll go to the next one. The number 11 Texas Tech Red Raiders at the number 14 Illinois Illini. Illini opened minus 4.5, now minus 4. This one had a similar move, but on the total, opened 166, jumped the 1.5 to where it sits now at 168.
This is a tough handicap at this point of the year, too, because these two teams, you don't really have a lot to go on. I don't have a play on this game. This is going to be one that I'll be eagerly watching. I think this total might be a little low. That's really the only kind of feel or opinion I have one way or the other.
So it has been bet up, right, Ryan?
Yep.
166.5, now 168.
I figured this one would be in the 170s.
Ken Palm has it 85.79. I can't do math that fast if you can. 85.79. And then my dad has it 169. So, I mean, he's got more. Well, yes, total. He's got
164.
He's got more unders usually. So the fact that he's got even a slight difference, I don't hate that at all. I didn't know JT Toppin returns again.
Yeah.
So
they're just finding they're finding eligibility for these guys.
They might have the best player, but Illinois is definitely the better team.
Yeah.
All around, right? So I would lean to the favorite in that one, but that's tough. It's nice to see, though, when you're looking at coaches compared to college football and college basketball. Brad Underwood, now his 9th year there at Illinois. Grant McCasland, his 3rd season here for Texas Tech, but has done a really good job. So we'll see. I think this is a really good watch and see what we get from both of these teams.
Yeah, that number feels about right.
All right, the final ranked versus ranked game of the night will be here on the West Coast, but up in the state of Washington. The number 19 Gonzaga Bulldogs host the number 23 Creighton Blue Jays. Gonzaga is open minus 12.5, went down to minus 11.5. Total open 167, went down to 164.5, back up now to where it sits at 165.5.
A lot of movement in this one, especially in the early part of the year. Like, you would expect this more so in February and March when there's the breadth of information and everybody's got their trends and their patterns established by then in terms of betting it. So this is weird to see that much like particular line movement, half point here, point there, and going back and forth in this one. I will just preface this by saying I love Gonzaga. The home court advantage is undeniable up there in Spokane. I got it at 11 right before we took the air, so I'm on the Bulldogs here. 11.5. I still like it. The one thing, too, is like you look at these early season games, Gonzaga just dominated Oklahoma in their last game. And Oklahoma, an okay team, but for the SEC, they're, a better team than just about, 80% of the country. But the biggest thing for me is, so it was an 83-68 final, dominating win for Gonzaga. They outscored the Sooners 38-4 in the paint in the first half. They came out and absolutely dominated a big physical SEC team. And Creighton's front court is all banged up. I think that Gonzaga, by the time the year ends with Graham Ike and Huff as well, may have one of the best front courts, if not the best front court in college basketball. I think they're able to take that physical advantage at home and dominate an outside-heavy team traditionally like Creighton.
Pretty surprised. I didn't know Graham Ike was back for another year.
Again, they're finding eligibility. They're pulling it out of the couch cushions for these guys.
So it might be a better Gonzaga team than we saw last year, right? Who was not that great until,
of course,
up to their standard. I was just impressed looking up Mark Few and his record. I just wanted to share this. His record at Gonzaga, 742 and 152. So
pretty good.
Of course, it does help playing in that conference.
Yep.
But I mean, they just
A win's a win, right?
yeah, wins
They don't
a
ask
win.
how, they ask how many.
Exactly. We have the numbers right there. So that's it for the hardwood. So we're both leaning Kentucky. You like the under. I'm leaning Illinois there too at 4. But Ryan, anything hardwood there or NBA, or you want to move over to the ice?
11-11 on 11-11. We'll move over to the ice now.
I like it.
All right.
Oh.
Well, we're not going through the full slate. We'll just kind of show the board to you guys. There are some, I think, tremendous value on some underdogs today. But Alex, I think you had a note on the Maple Leafs Bruins.
Yeah.
Leafs minus 135 on the road. Total is at 6 with juice to the under.
Well, so on my sheet, and I can kind of go through some of these trends, but I was pretty shocked to see that Toronto 11 straight overs for them. And then Ryan had mentioned to me that they have only had 2 games stay under actually on the year. So that was surprising. It's tough to go over for a Boston game, though. It looks like it will be Jeremy Swayman. So that makes me a little nervous. The Bruins on a nice 6-game win streak coming into this one. So I had Toronto a much bigger favorite. I'm going to stay off of it, adding in for that win streak for Boston here. But yeah, pretty high total there at 6.5 for a Boston game. And their streak says it's to continue going overs there.
I like overs. Boston as a home dog, I kind of like. Another home dog that I don't hate is Vancouver. I don't know if they're still dogs because that one was tight, but just about even now. I kind of like Vancouver catching a little bit of money at home.
I do too. I really do. Winnipeg has been very disappointing to start the year. Yep. They are 9-6. Vancouver 8-1. No trends at home or away, but yeah, I'm with you. I think that is the right side. Winnipeg coming into this one on a 3-game losing streak. The only thing is Canucks are playing their 3rd in 4 nights, but that's the only small thing. And you still got Hellebuck, but I think that's a pretty good dog there.
A lot of starting goaltenders tonight as well, so I think that the home dogs may be a little bit more live than they traditionally are.
Yeah. I mean, I am excited to see that. When I saw my sheet, and we are getting most of the starting goalies here. I mean, Dallas and Senators, we got Ottinger and Ullmark, and then we've got Thompson versus Frederick Anderson for that next matchup. So really good goalies going tonight too. Where do we want to go next?
You talked about exciting matchups. I think the one that I'm most excited for tonight is the one involving 2 of the most prolific offenses to start this season. Out in Colorado, the Anaheim Ducks on the road, taking on the Avalanche. Total is 6.5. Over minus 30.
Woo!
The highest juiced total we've seen so far this year in the NHL here at the South Point. So 6.5 minus 30 in this game. I think the Ducks are live. They're on a win streak. Colorado, granted, just put up 9 on the Oilers. So offense is feeling good in this one, but I like the Ducks here. What say you guys?
This screams Grand Salami to me with all these high totals and all the juice to the over. I don't know. 55.5 with juice to the over on the Grand Salami. That's what that screams to me.
I made the Ducks and Avs 6.98. So I would have probably.
I'd love to see a 7 on the sheet.
There might be a 7 later because that is really 7 under.
There is a 7 in the market.
-5.
No way. Let's go.
Over at BetMGM, there's a 7 under minus 35.
Wow.
So, yeah.
They're daring you.
Yeah,
Well,
see some fun juice today.
But to Ryan's point, with the Ducks winning 7 in a row, I mean, the Avs have won 3 in a row, but still got to add in about 20 cents there. So, I mean, if you're getting at least $2, I think there's a little value there.
Yeah, that's where my mind is. So Ducks plus the $2 tonight. And then the other dog that I think has some value is playing against a team that I think is should not be a 2-10 favorite this year. It is the San Jose Sharks on the road against the Minnesota Wild. The Sharks are on their own win streak. Yeah, the Sharks are on their own win streak. 3 games in a row, getting plus 180 in Minnesota today. Total is at 6.5 even.
Ugh, just gross. I got nothing here.
I would add in a little bit for the Sharks, but I'm pretty much at $2. So is $2 the best you can get there, Ryan, for the Sharks?
Let me see out in the market. Looks like the best right now is 85.
Yeah. See,
So
I would need a little bit more to jump on there, but I cannot fault you. I do not. I mean, Minnesota's finally won 2 in a row, so maybe they're playing a little bit better, but overall for the season has not been great. But couple others really quick. I'll I do like the Canadians at home. I think that that's a good spot, and I think that's a cheap price for them. Kings are getting a lot of respect. I know they've played pretty good on the road, won 3 in a row. But I like Montreal in this spot. They have 7 overs in a row.
Ooh.
Looking for some trends that really stand out here. That's one of them. Canucks, actually, 6 straight overs for them. No under trends, huh?
Huh.
Maybe,
Grand salami.
maybe you're onto something there. I think that's it for me. Ryan, anybody else for hockey?
No, those 2 big dogs were my keys today.
And then Caps and Canes should be a good one.
Yeah.
And Stars and Senators. So that's it for us for today. Let's take a quick break. Oh, you're ready.
I'm ready for the whiteboard.
Go ahead. You take over.
All right, I'll
get
let you. We'll see how fast you can write on the board.
Very good. Okay.
All right, so I'm on my board today. I have in the Maction. I've got Ohio. That game of pick'em, and that number's moving all over
Matt,
the place. Yeah.
Angle your board a little
Oh,
more.
I'm sorry. How's that? Oh no. How's that? Is that a little better for you?
A little bit.
A little bit better. I blame the lights. They make me look good, which I need, but that makes the board look bad. I'm going under in this one. Western Michigan, Ohio. Like I said, 2 of the teams that run the ball at a top 40% or 40 clip in the country, 57 and 58% respectively. I think that this is it's a first place game in the MAC. That's going to be a tight game. I think whoever gets the lead early is going to be able to slow it down, muck it up, and limit the number of possessions. And then in the hardwood, 3 ranked on ranked matchups, and I got to play in 2 of them. I like Kentucky to go on the road and beat Louisville in a rivalry game. I also like it to stay under. Remember, 140 of Louisville's last 144 against non-conference opponents have gone under 174. I like it under 173.5, and I think Gonzaga's front court too big, too dominant against a banged-up Creighton team. This one on ESPN tonight at 7 o'clock. I know you're all going to be watching Montana UNLV, but have this one on in the background. I like Gonzaga, double-digit point favorites for a reason. They're going to dominate in the front court. Give me the Zags, baby.
Very good. All right. I wrote quick. I'm ready. Tuesday, November 11th. I'm going
11-11, baby. Make your wish.
1 ice, 1 hardwood, and 1 on the gridiron. So I am taking the point here with Ohio. I do think they can win this matchup. Very important for their ranking in the MAC. I'm going with Montreal at home, minus 105 against the Kings. I think that's a good price there for them. And I'm taking the points with Kentucky. I'll probably throw in your under as well.
I love it.
I do like the way that those trends are going, and the fact that one of the Ken's numbers match that too.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Can never have too many Kens. We love you, Ken Sports.
Ryan, anything for you or your... you like your 2 dogs?
Yeah, it's those 2 dogs on the ice, the Sharks and the Ducks, the 2 aquatic animals.
Yeah, forget the Penguins.
Yeah, we could tie that. They're not even playing today. But just to add on to what our viewers thought today with those college basketball games, taking which road underdog are you taking of the ranked teams? Kentucky plus the 6.5 at Louisville, Texas Tech plus the 4 at Illinois, and Creighton plus the 11.5 at Gonzaga. Our viewers, 47% of them going with the Wildcats on the road in that rivalry
Smart
game
viewers, let's
against
go.
Louisville.
I'm all over it. I'm with you guys. We're going to ride on this one together.
You know, they've been on a roll, really, so that's
smarter than I am.
Makes me feel better. Yeah.
I'll defer to their judgment, yeah.
My whiteboard here. Did we have a trivia today?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
It was a baseball question for you today. On this date, 11/11/1981, Hall of Fame pitcher Fernando Valenzuela became the first Major League Baseball rookie to win the Cy Young Award. How many shutouts did Fernando pitch in that season?
Oof.
Matt, do you happen to know?
I don't know. I can only imagine it was a rookie record. I'm going to say 8.
You are spot on. El Toro pitched an impressive 8 shutout games in that 1981 season when he won the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young. Valenzuela is the only Major League Baseball player to date to do both of those in the same season, Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young.
8 shutouts. I know something about baseball.
Very good.
I'll take it.
I'm not surprised at all that you got that one.
That's the first one of them that I've gotten right. So.
Put it on the board.
Yes.
Put it on the board. All right. I think that's it for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Be good, yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow.
I'm ready.
We'll have some college football picks for you tomorrow, looking ahead to week 12, trying to get some closing line value. We did it last week. Let's see if we can do it again. We'll have Bruce Marshall's picks. Might have Bruce Marshall here in studio. We'll let you know tomorrow. Ryan, thank you, as always, for running our show, keeping us in line, even though we're still a little over. Drew Dog, thank you for cutting the show. Jerry, Ann, Vince, and Sean. Matt Neverett, love having you here on Tuesdays. Thank you. And everybody else, let's cash some tickets. Thank you for watching. Happy Veterans Day. This is Sports by the Book. I'm Alex White. We'll see you again tomorrow.